Hey guys, Savage Recovery back for another video. How are all my savages doing? I got a great story for you guys. Got a couple of them that are going to be coming out here in a second. But before we get into that, if you guys like my channel, you want to help support my work, the best way you guys can do that is hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell, get all my notifications, so when I upload something, you'll know that I just released new content. About 68% of you are subscribed. The rest are non-subscribed. The comment, like, share, help me with the algorithm. Those things help grow the channel. It's the easiest way to support. If you guys want to support my work more to help me grow, you can also donate to my PayPal, my Cash App. You can email me at savageredrecovery@gmail.com and send me topics you want me to speak about. Or you guys can also support my photography on savage_red_studios on the IG. Alright guys, let's get into this video. I got a call on December 21st of 2014 that my dad wasn't doing well, and that I needed to go and I needed to see him because he wasn't, it wasn't looking good. In 2012, I gave my dad had a heart attack and he had to have open heart surgery, and I ended up saving his life, being there, getting him to a hospital. And so by 2014, I knew my dad's health was slipping. I knew my dad's health was slipping prior to that. I didn't talk to my father from the time I was 13 until I was like 19 or 20. And as I got older, even though I was, you know, slinging drugs and doing crimes and getting high, I knew that I needed to have a relationship with my father. Like, there was something innate in me that was drawing me to my dad. But because of the way we got along and how headstrong I was and how much of an asshole I was and how much I was on drugs and how much it affected my personality and how much of a little boy I was, I really wasn't a man. Me and him could never have that relationship, and his wife didn't like me. So the relationship was rough. My dad thought that I was going to kill him or try to kill him for money or something. So the last 3 years of his life, I really wasn't in his life. He was in and out of the hospital. He was sick. He was having surgeries. He was spending like weeks and months in the hospital from time to time. So I was staying in a motel called Eastwood Motel in Kent, Ohio. During that time, I was having trouble functioning as a person. I was doing so many drugs that the drugs were affecting my nervous system. I was having crazy anxiety. I couldn't leave. I couldn't ride in a car. I really was having trouble functioning as a person. And I was on the run at the time, and I also had a ticket on my head. I still have a ticket on my head, but that it was fresh at that time. So I was at a low point in life. I was having trouble. I really couldn't help it. So that was a Friday. On Saturday, I was supposed to be there early to be at the hospital to see my dad. When I went, I was late. I was getting high, had to go get dope, had to go do some things, didn't get there till like 3, 4 in the afternoon. Me and my girl got dropped off there. I go up, I say some words to my dad. I'm in there by myself for a little bit. I hold his hand. I go out to get my girlfriend. I wanted to bring her in real quick to talk to her. Well, not really talk to her, but say my last words and leave. And my uncle told me that he got in my way and told me my dad didn't want my girlfriend in there, and that he said not to let her in if anything was to ever happen. And I was like, dude, like, she's here to support me. Like, she's not here to talk to my dad. She's not here to do anything. Like, she's just here for me. Like, my dad's dying. And he said he wouldn't let her in there, so I told my family to screw themselves and fuck them and all the, like, I let my ego and my pride get in the way, and I left. And I never got to say my final thoughts or my final words. I did get to speak to him, but I didn't say the final things I wanted to say. I didn't get to wrap it up in a bow. So I left. So then we go back to the motel, and we're at the motel for a couple of days. And um it was Christmas Eve of 2014. We had to go do some dope runs and do some stealing and get rid of the shit and get money and do our little hustle. And she ended up dropping me off at the McDonald's in downtown Ravenna. Um, I didn't end up having I get dropped off. It's Christmas Eve. It's raining. It's cold. I had I didn't have clothes on to be warm. Like I had pants and like a long sleeve shirt or like a hoodie. And I was staying outside the McDonald's when it closed. Um, a buddy of mine that I knew from doing shit. He saw me at McDonald's, told me I could come stay at his place for a minute until they were done and picked me up. I got dropped off at like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 2. And by noon, like midnight 1, she's not answering her phone. My girlfriend, of course, she's not answering her phone. She's not picking up. It's like 3 in the morning. I call my cousin. I had my cousin go take me to the projects. She's driving out the projects as we pull in. I jump in the car with her. She's high as a kite. She ends up telling me that she's not high. She has no dope. She has no money. She has nothing. We get into a fight. She was lying. She had dope. She had dope. She just didn't want to share. The wolves that I was rolling around with, I always kept her shielded from the wolves. But because I was becoming weak as a person because all of the pressure and all of the anxiety and all the paranoia that I had on me and me not being able to function, I wasn't really in a state of being a wolf. So the people around me knew that she was a weaker vessel, and like they wouldn't be able to manipulate me, and they wouldn't be like it wouldn't be in their benefit to violently try to get me out. So they tried to get me out by working through her, just like the serpent went through Eve. She was an easier target to get to Adam. So they got in her ear. They got in her ear, and she ended up separating from me. And yeah, like it was shitty. Like it was just a shitty time. Like my dad had just died like 2 days prior. Um, it was just a fucked up time. Like all dope fiend relationships. She didn't talk to me. She was staying with the dudes I was with for a few weeks, and then we got in a linking back up. But like that was in December. My dad's funeral was in January. I got arrested on the way to my dad's funeral with the girl at the time that girl I was dating. I went to jail. I got out 2 days later. Even though I wasn't reporting to bond. Even though I had probation violations. Um, like I don't know why they didn't hold me. They didn't hold me though. Um, as time goes on, like it's getting closer and closer to my dad's birthday. My dad's birthday is February 28th, and my sobriety date is February 23rd. So on the 20th, I get pulled over again with my girl and a buddy of mine. We let them use our car. They ran from the police. They came back in a different car. The cops knew it was him that ran from the police. They pulled us over. They handcuffed him through the window and yanked him out through the window. They patted us down, searched us. They didn't run our names. I didn't get arrested. They made us walk from Wyndham to Ravenna. We hitchhiked back to Ravenna to our car. We end up getting to our car. We go to Cleveland. We cop some dope. We go stay in Canton. I sleep on my girlfriend's friend who she used to date's couch until I could get into treatment on Monday. That was February 20th. I got in on to the treatment center on February 23rd, which is my sobriety day of 2015. My dad's birthday is February 28th. I end up meeting my sponsor on the day of my dad's birthday, which he became like a father figure to me in sobriety. He taught me how to be a man, taught me to be accountable, taught me responsibility, just like the house did. The house taught me a routine and taught me how to be responsible. And at about 15 months sober, I ended up finding out that I was going to have a kid. And my dad wanted kids. I'm the only son that has his last name, so in order for his name to be passed on, he wanted me to have children. And he never got to see his grandchildren from me or my sister. We didn't have any grandchildren by the time he died. So I find out that we're gonna have a kid. Before we find out that we're gonna, like, what sex it is, I know it's a boy. It was in my soul. I knew it was a boy. They told us the date of his estimated date of arrival of birth was going to be on March 3rd. So I knew it was going to be February 28th. I knew that it was a sign that, like, my dad was watching over me. I knew that I was going to have a piece of my father with me on this earth, and me and my dad's relationship was rough, and I wanted to grow up and not be like him. And in my sobriety, I've come to realize that I look like my dad, I act like my dad. Me and my dad are a lot closer together than I ever thought when I was a kid I wanted to be when I was young and dumb. And then I had my son, and the morning of his birth, I went and took a shower. And when I took the shower, I got out and told my girlfriend at the time, like, hey, like, it was a different girl. Hey, I think my kid's mom's in labor. Me and her hadn't been talking at the time, like a month or two prior to her giving birth. Like, we had gotten into some stupid petty argument. I don't remember if it was my fault or her fault, to be honest with you. All I know is that we weren't talking. And she ended up calling my mom and telling my mom that I needed to get down to the hospital. And then we get down to the hospital, and I was right. She was in labor. It was the 28th of February of 2017. I just turned 2 years sober. My son was born. So, like, I did end up having a piece of my father. And then, so I as my son's gotten older, I see my son. Okay. As my son got older, I see myself in my son. And I can also see my dad in my son. And, like, some of the things that have always come into my mind is, like, is our relationship going to be like me and my father's? Like, is this my karma or my payback for the relationship that I had with my father? And, like, it was hard giving birth to my first kid because I was overwhelmed. First time being a father, being nervous about being a dad, like, not sure if I'm gonna be able to do it. And, like, it was hard not having my father there because I know there was lessons that my dad had needed to teach me that I never got from him. And it would have been nice to be able to go and ask him questions about being a father or things that he did with me when I was a kid. And I never got that. So, like, my dad didn't want me doing drugs. He didn't want me doing heroin. He wanted me to get out of the streets. So I never got to give him grandchildren when he was alive. I never was sober when he was alive. I was still committing crimes when he was alive. So now that I'm sober, I make it a point not to get high. I make it a point not to go back to jail, not commit crimes. And, like, that's the only way that I can repay my father. And all I can do is make sure that I don't do those things for my son. So guys, that is that's how my father died, my relationship with my father, and how that was the catalyst to get me sober, and what helps keep me sober. Yeah, like, and now I got a son. Everybody, stay savage.